That's me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ryan here, and it's the CM0102 Super League on Wednesday evening. It's a little bit later than organised and a little bit later than planned. The chairman had five-a-side this evening, where he was first time in a long time. We had a 2-2 on a very large six-a-side pitch. 2-0 up, and then our legs kind of gave in and let the 19-year-olds that were against back into it. But anyway, I know you're all here for the main event of the evening, which is the Champman Super League, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by none other than Dudley Hillboss and, of course, Super League legend Steve Wright. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'll probably won't go as far as legend, but try a bit of little boss from week to week.
Champ Mega Horse is here. Mike Savage is here, as is Jens and Ian and Dimble. Yeah, it's good to see you all, and I appreciate the late start. I'm going to try and fire through this as quick as I can, just because I'm on with Steve, and obviously, who likes listening to Steve? Jokes. Mike Mega Horse is having a Rice Krispies beer. Evening, Alf.
Yeah,
The
I'm just coming
Alf.
in on that. Sounds disgusting, does that?
It does sound pretty horrific. So, without further ado, there's the fixtures tonight. Any particular that you're looking forward to, mate? Apart
I
from
mean,
your own.
Gazelles, I guess. I think Gazelles have been, as much as they've been pretty
Shit.
tight the last couple of games. Yeah, I think they've been there or thereabouts. But Aggies have obviously taken it up another level, going away from home and doing it. I think they're going to have. It's going to be a big test to both sides. Really looking forward to that. Obviously, if the Leddersford wagon can keep rolling on, and I think the most intriguing one there, looking at them all, is Locomotive v Bostock for me. I think Greaves is, as I've said a couple of times, I think he's had a bit of an hard ride in terms of talking about a shithousery this season. He's opened up. Montella's massively made a difference in having that bit more cutting edge up top. And I do think Scott's been a bit better away from home this season. He went really well start of season away from home. Dipped, lost a couple of results at home. So I think that's going to be probably the most intriguing one at night for me.
I bet your own game tonight. You've got what have you got tonight? Looking at Dudley Hill away at the Sloths. Tough one on paper.
Yeah, I mean, Fifey's he puts things in the heads. Over the last couple of seasons, it's been two apiece wins, and we've scored 8, they scored 6. So, but I think any team that's won has scored probably 3. So who knows what's going to happen? Whether we've got that enough up front now to keep that ball rolling, probably not. I would have thought, but yeah, we'll see. We're not unduly unconfident and trying to shut them out.
Anyway, we're here and we're late, so let's crack on. We're going to Norway first, as Jens has got an early start. He's at home tonight against After Athletic, and let's not beat her in the bush. Recently, the Hulls have absolutely been pish, absolute pish. That's 4 defeats on the bounce, but then there was 3 more defeats just before that. Gazelles game, so 1 win in 7 and 6 defeats in 7 for a team which on paper is pretty damn class. So I think Jens has reverted back to one of his earlier tactics, who's symmetric. He's stuck with the 2 lads up top and Brozic behind, which I think, do you mean from the quality players he's got, is probably his best lineup. Whether Derek Boateng is up to the task, we'll see. His stats don't look amazing to me, but this is his second outing on the bounce. Let's see how he gets on, and he is up against the much improved, the enjoyable to watch, but still not on huge form. A couple of Desmonds recently. Astra Athletic, managed by Tato Mourinho. What do you make of this lineup, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, he's sticking with it. He's pulled some really good results, and they absolutely handed our rear ends to us at our place, which is not. It's not obviously. It's not uncommon. It's going to be really intriguing. This with that lineup he ends is obviously strikers are not firing. I think if has to click, they've got it in them to go like they did against us, and not just against us. They've got to go, but 2 or 3 against them. Dizzy Roberts has been brilliant. Really tough one to call for me. Really is.
Well, We'll ask for some. I mean, let's tell you what. Let's not call it tonight. That's the one thing we can do tonight to kind of skip things forward a little bit. We'll not do predictions. If you want to give one, mate, just tell me away. If you want to do them in the chat, then go for it. But beyond that, I'm going to kick off.
1-0 Hulls.
What you say, sorry, mate?
1-0 Hulls after all them
1-0
losses they needed.
Hulls.
I think they might get one.
It looks like that isn't going to happen though, because we've had an early goal for ZZ Roberts and we've had an injury for Vitaly Volodenkov. It's just nothing's going right for Jens at the minute. I do feel for him. Not too sure that Derek Boateng is the answer, but yeah, I think he's definitely got the tools in place there to kind of do something. It's got to be Christian Zanoni, hasn't it? I don't know what I'm waiting for. Yeah, I'll just do that. To be honest with you, any other night, then I'd wait for him to confirm. But I mean, what else is he going to be doing? And let's continue this. Why we're on that speed, I'm not too sure. 11 minutes gone. Another effort there from Astor Brozek coming forward and missing the target. Crespo shoots hard and low. It's well saved. Looks like Hulls are well in this. Actually, it's 41 minutes, so nothing much is happening in this half. And we've got two half time. And it's been a pretty poor first half. 3 shots and 2 on target for both teams. Astor have slightly the edge. I'm going to go to Tato first. Who to tell me if he wants any subs. Solid first half from Astor. Happy with the lead.
Yeah, I mean David Day has been good, very even in terms of shots and on target. I think he were lauded a bit about the David Day deal, but I think I were actually after him from Macca for a little spell last season at some point. But yeah, I think he's got to be happy that away from home to be leading at half time. It doesn't matter who you're playing and what your team's looking like. You've always got to be happy with that.
Yeah, a couple of 80s in there. Notice Soren's on 85. Rayad, who had a couple of nice touches in that first half. Second most touches for the Astor side on 87. Be interesting if he bites and makes a sub there. I'm sure that Scholl for Katana is going to be the sub there. I'm going to click on this for Jens first. Any quick observations why Jens has a look at his teammate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Crespo's doing all right. Van Nistelrooy's been similar, but I think the thing is we've also got a lot more improvement in him as well, as Astor probably have. But I think Wien's been the home side. He's come back from Astor dominating probably the first 20 minutes. If they can kick off pretty well in the second half, I think there might be a chance we're nicking a draw at least, or nicking a win, depending on how much they get on front foot.
Quite a few touches. Jens, let us know as soon as you are, because I can see that you haven't got anyone on the bench called Jesus. Mr. Arellano, I believe, is in your reserves. Jens is going to stick as is. Stick or twist, he's sticking. And Chiran comes forward. Mileshki. Boateng hits it high and wide. Derek Boateng. Never thought I'd hear that name in the Super League. Van Nistelrooy was involved there. And we've got a penalty for Astor. And ZZ Roberts continues to stick the boot into the Norwegians and puts Astor 2-0 up. Saviola had an effort there. Looks like it's all Astor at the moment. Saviola putting them wide. Sorin coming forward. Scally. It's all orange, isn't it? It's all orange with just over 10 minutes to go.
Very, very, very dominant.
Very dominant. Crespo, Rivaldo, Mileski. Oh, Jens is going to be pulling his hair out. He's going to be ripping his nipple hairs off. It looks like it's all Astra Athletic.
I imagine them nipples being shaved, in fairness, but
I probably waxed, in my opinion. Probably waxed. Maybe
yeah,
2-0 are generous on the stats. This game in general makes no sense, says Maka. But I mean, Tato's the happy manager. You've been saying that this result's been coming recently, and they've got it tonight.
yeah, definitely. Super David Day there. ZZ Roberts has been the sign of the season, and to be fair, we all knew we were available. We all knew we were on a free transfer. You know what? He was tempted for me. I love him, but I had other things that I wanted to do, and he's been absolutely massive for us so far.
Completely agree. I mean, what's going wrong in Norway? What's going wrong for Jens, and what can he do to change it?
I think you're probably asking questions that I can't, and probably Jens can't answer at the minute. Volodenkov's been a little bit hit and miss, red cards, injuries. But like I say, the players are there. It's just finding that one thing, like when he went to 4-1-3-2 last season, or first season for a little bit. It clicked. I'm not saying do that now, but something will click, I think, for him at some point.
Yeah, I think that was season one. It did work for him for quite a long period. We're going to the C-suite. We're going to Royal Wurslif to see Mac. I've seen him join us in the chat. Um, and yeah, Maka having computer issues at the minute, so he's using old tactics. But he definitely has a few of them to hand, so there's not really too much to complain about. I can see my first mistake of the evening. Nedved definitely shouldn't be on the right. Is that what? Unless that's the one. Nope. Let's just take his midfield out. Midfield left is Giggs. Midfield right is Beckham, and then it is Nedved and Veron. I'm just going to double check this whilst you're talking through his team, mate.
Yeah, I mean Beckham, he's had a rough time in league. I think full on. I think top assist charts. He's proven his worth with Maka. The more Man United players he's getting in there, it's showing that he's trying to build that cohesiveness that they have. I think the big thing for me here is the Butt Biscan Yepes Balde has been massively strong for him, but you can see why he's gone with what he has with the three up top. For me, I probably have Shearer, central, just for being focal point, but always to argue with somebody who just keeps getting results out of teams that he's got.
Someone who isn't getting results and is currently bottom of the league is our Dragons boss, Jamie. I know he's do you mean he's a busy man at the minute, and the Super League sends its love to him. Hope everything's all right. Yes, he's going with a kind of a another manager going with three up top, so hopefully we'll get some goals in this one. Archie back comes in up top. We've had Brett Emerton come in for Stankovic, who I thought played okay. Got a 7. I think he got a 9 before that, didn't he? He got a 9 and a 7, and he's been dropped. Interesting. Um,
Yeah, well, he scored that game. He got a 9, didn't he, when he were in? And I think you dropped him in, if I were right, and he scored. I don't really like Everton centrally myself, but on face of it, it's very strong. It's just the goals are conceding. They scored a bucket load. It's just
yeah,
what they
it's mad.
concede. It's just
Mad
what they
that, isn't it?
conceding.
They've scored the joint third most in the league, but they've conceded the most by a country mile. Um, Fulchester versus Dragons. What's your prediction on this one, mate?
You can't see past a home win of any kind at the minute, unfortunately for Jamie.
Right, we'll kick this one off, and it looks like the Dragons have come out firing a little bit. I saw some bow mess up, but then as soon as I say that, Juan Veron puts it into the back of the net, and the C-suite loyal will be cheering on the stands. Shearer, Nedved, Beckham, Veron all involved. It looks like Fulchester turning the screw a little bit. Saeed holding the line for Dragons, and that's big Alan Shearer, who Alf mentioned in the chat, is the Alan Shearer fan club, has got his second goal. I think that is first. Yeah, that's his first one of the season. On his second start. 30 minutes gone. Fulchester adding a third, and there's Big Al's second of the evening. It looks like they're in cruise control already. Macca's prediction that's a guaranteed Dragons win. Surely he's kind of must be fear that the worst fears must have gone out of his head now as he makes it 4 just before half time. Michael Owen getting involved in the action, absolutely dominant, 10 and 7 versus 1 and none. Let's have a look at Fulchester up first. That's a complete first half performance, isn't it, Steve?
Probably one of the better first halves you'll probably have seen or probably ever see again in the league. Yeah, just totally dominant against side when they're matching up nearly man for man. In theory, them DMs probably up there with their central midfielders, but Michael Owen finally turning from assist king to scoring goals, and it's been sort of coming as this sort of full chest performance, in my opinion, as well.
Fair enough. Maka, let us know if you want to make any subs. I've not seen Jamie's name in the chat, but yeah, so what would you be doing if you were in charge? Obviously, apart from chastising your mate, Dionysus Kiotis.
Yeah, I mean, I felt lucky. He didn't have one of them wobbles for me, and I think as good as he is, as good as he looks, I think he's more likely to wobble like that than a few of the keepers in the league, which is why it took me a while to give him a game. But obviously, Oliver Kahn last season was great, but the season before he were not so great, and his rating said he was. But yeah, it's difficult when you've got that many low ratings. It's difficult to pinpoint how to change it in that.
Yep, Mikey Savage saying bonk all the way, meaning bonk is the pronunciation of Archer's back or Archer's bonk. according to many, and according to the people who are correct. Both teams going as is, and we kick off. It's 4-0 at half time. Surely we're not going to get any surprises tonight. Giggs coming forward, Nedved Comandini, who's not been on the score sheet yet, will obviously fancy his chances, but we've got to 67 minutes and we've had no further goals. Kyotis Westbaumer, can Dragons get a consolation? We're into the last 10 minutes now. I don't think there's been much happen in terms of goalmouth action in the second half, and we've got to the final whistle. No. To be honest with you, quick look at the stats there. Fulchester and Nedved picking up man of the match, getting 2 assists. Shearer getting the 2 goals. Great performance. Obviously, not having much more on in the first half. Congratulations to Maka, and commiserations to the Dragons. And it's yeah, I think it's one of those back to the drawing board for the Dragons. Just definitely not the team they were last season.
No, I think that's the earliest loss. It's proving a bit bigger than it might have seemed from the start. In fairness, it's yeah, I definitely think it's left them a little bit weak in that area.
Well, here's the game you were looking forward to this evening. It's Locomotive Boston at home to Bostock Stanley. Both teams currently occupying places in the top 6. Boston been solid enough recently. Only scored once in the last 4 games though, which could be a little bit of a worry. But always solid in the back. You can see that they've kept 4 out of 5 clean sheets. I mean, ever the way with Boston. Locomotive 1-1, I believe, is a very rare same again from Greavesy. This look right. I'm just going to check this because I've just seen Didi Haman. Did Didi Haman play at the weekend?
Yeah, did he play that position? He were quite quick in after Pax come out saying that Boston were in as well. So it doesn't
Yeah,
surprise me if
yeah.
that's the case.
I've just checked that he is going again. It's a very very solid lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got 2 defensive midfielders trying to do dirty work in and around Scholes. I know he said he was making sure Kuluzny played the week before last. He played in centre midfield, and I think he said that he wanted to get him as far away from Roy Keane as he could. So them 2 didn't butt heads when he played Burn. But
Ah.
yeah, well, it's very solid.
I'm just confirming this as we speak, but I'm pretty sure another team, and it's a very rarity for me for both of these managers. They usually get about 1 or 2 same agains a week. I mean, but this is both managers obviously enjoying how their teams are playing at the moment, and this is same again from Scott. Obviously had a decent result last time out against a team that's just won 4-0. Nicholas Anelka picking up a 10. And why would he change it? Eh?
No, definitely not. And Elka's been fantastic for him this season, as has more than anybody. Lee Bowyer, he was decent for Dragons. He was poor for me, and he's been brilliant for Scott. So I think it says more about me than them 2 managers, regardless of where Jamie's at the minute.
Who's your money on for this one, mate?
I can't see past the draw. I don't like sitting on fence with this sort of stuff. I can't see past the draw of any ilk.
No, no, do you reckon? No, no.
No, one apiece.
1 apiece. We kicked it off anyway. A couple of minutes in here. Tato saying he's going to be dog shit next week as a result. Looks like Locomotive started the best there. Scholes and Montella having efforts. And Olivia Decoa has seen red. Has anyone seen Scott Sadler in the chat? I'm just having a quick scroll up, see if I can spot his name anywhere. Don't think I've seen it yet. Have you seen him at all?
No, I haven't actually.
It's a very rare occasion that Scott's not about. He has been very, very unfortunate with the red cards this season, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Tato's saying he's around, so I'm going to hang fire before jump into a decision on.
yeah. There was a spell, wasn't there, where he'd had a couple of red cards and lost a couple of games, but he's still not lost with 11 men out field. So it's what, 3rd or 4th this season. But looking at the players that are getting sent off as well, I think it's they're that type of player that have it in the locker from time to time.
Well, hopefully Scott's going to tell us what he wants to do in this situation, because do you mean
Yeah,
we're here for a good time? What would you
I
do?
think yeah, well, he just said that he wants Tristan off for Welsh and Alka Central away from home against Boston. I think that's totally the right thing to do.
Well, that is what we've done, and we're going to continue with this game. Decor getting sent off. Obviously, I get a former Locomotive player. Greaves, you didn't really fancy him. He's got to 41 minutes though, and we haven't had a goal. Looks like we've seen a little bit of red and white of Bostock as well. When we get to half time, it's obviously the only efforts on goal are from the home team with 11 players. Nothing from the away team, but nothing on the scoreline. Anything to report on Bostock's first half, Steve?
Yeah, Andre doing Andre bits. Rest of the team are leaving a little bit to be desired, but I said they've got improvements in them and they're not behind. We've seen it so many times this season though, where teams are looking strong or looking like they're attacking a bit, and then the stats are just not totally equaling what we all perceive we're seeing. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'd be chuffed with Andre because he's been that consistent for him throughout this and the last iteration. I think looking at that, I think it's probably difficult to make any more changes, in my opinion. But
I'm sure
obviously,
Scott will let us know if he does want to make any more. In terms of the forward play, Inzaghi Montella, it's not been much better for Boston, has it? Montella 2 off target. The best performances have been coming from Radoslav Kaluzhny. No yellow cards for Boston as well, which he'll be happy with.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they've had very little ball, full stop, haven't they? And Kaluzny, yeah, he's completed most of his passes, but only winning 3 or 7 tackles. You struggle to see where that nine's coming from. Larson, being the rock that he has been, him and Klumpe have probably been best centre half pairing over the course of the season for me as well.
I saw that he put a message out about that, didn't he? I saw that he's
Yeah, and
obviously a big fan of him.
hard to disagree with, and I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, I'm going to guess he's not here tonight, but I know he's a big fan of keeping as is as
Yeah,
well. So
we're going to kick off. I've not seen his name, and no one's telling me to hang fire. So we're going to kick off with this second half. Locomotive Boston versus Bostock. 11 versus 10. Paul Scholes having an early effort. We get to 64 minutes though, and we're still on 0-0. Scott starting to begin to hope here that his team might be able to nick one or at least hold out for the draw. Bit of red and white there. Lizard Zoo and Elka's name mentioned a few times. Ashley Life as well. To be honest with you, I thought DD Haman might have saw red there last 10 minutes. Didn't really fancy slowing it down tonight, but I think I will do just for a few seconds here. Looks like might be in for a bit of box office finish. Bostock definitely holding their own. Lassisi, Neville to Welsh. NDI, Lizarazu and Elka comes forward. Lewison picking up the yellow card. Can Bixente put anything from the free kick? We're into injury time. And it's boring Boston. Considering their what do you call it? It's 11 versus 10. I think obviously Scott's going to walk away the happier manager considering the red card. Especially, I feel like he could have nicked it in that second half. Obviously, had more shots on target second half than Boston did. It's a, you mean away from home with 10 men? It's not a bad performance, is it?
no, and especially attacking like that, Loco with 5 and 3 with the shots in first, it tells you there's definitely more Bostock going for it in the second half. Regardless of it looking like he could have nicked one at some point. I mean, Ndai jumping up from 6 to an 8 is pretty standard. But yeah, Scott will be delighted with that. But like I said beforehand, I think he's been extremely good away from home as well.
Yeah, and I mean defensively, a rock solid Clompe, Lewis and Kaluzhny, that defensive kind of protective three that Boston had. But it's going forward, they've been a little bit lacking. Montella only on a 6, sorry, Inzaghi on a 7, but not having a single shot on or off target. A couple of efforts and Scholes on target, but you got to think they're coming from distance. Yeah, maybe at home not creative enough, but against up against a good team in Bostock, even if they are with 10 men.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kaluzny there, his stats sort of went drifted out a bit in terms of tackles as well. So I'm a bit surprised by that man at match.
Mm. Um, Next up, we go to the Tyne. I believe we're open the Tyne to see Duggan's Gazellesman. I apologise to everyone for that accent. um, yeah, Duggan put another video out this week. He's obviously very good on the comms. He's obviously trying to find that formula which is going to work. This is what he's gone with this week. Raoul, you're kind of taking a little bit of a leaf out of the Wooder Mega Horse book with the reverse on the striker. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, I think he's been playing that backward arrow for a couple of games, but it's not been aimed at the DMC area. He was saying in his video that he's trying to really give it to Olguera tonight. So he's got his wing backs, his midfielders, and Raul all pushing up to that defensive midfield area. So it's going to be an interesting to see whether it might leave them a bit open, considering that Aggies have attacked really well. But Richie Wellens has been really good in spikes. There's a core of a really good team. I think Smirting's been good since coming in from as well, especially that moving into the central midfield area where he played really well the game before last. Yeah, and having Dede back's massive for him. It's going to be really interesting, really interesting this game.
Yeah. Tato Mourinho saying he thought Raul Hodgie Moat jumped on comms there for a minute. I thought it was a beautiful accent. And next, of course, we go north of the border to our friend from Edinburgh, Mr. Ian Campbell, and his Haggis Hunters British Sporting Elite. Um, he's gone with the same tactic, the Haggis Pillager tactic, which he got the 4-0 victory last time out against the Hools Vikings. He stuck with that couple of personnel changes. I think Patrick Vieira, the main man, coming back in. Solid lineup. Steve boy, aye, this is a solid lineup, Ken.
Yeah, for me though, the arrow should be on Danielson, not Vieira. But I might argue with somebody who's sat in top six. Really, look, end of the day, it's very strong. Like I say, Elgar has probably been one of the standout, lesser known players to come in and really make a difference this season. I'm interested to see how Vieira goes with that arrow. Really am. His stats say that he can do anything and everything in game, wherever you want to put him. But when you're
Yeah,
playing
I've just
at
double
this
checked.
level,
Yeah, I've just double checked his tactic, and that's correct. It's what he wanted to do. Um, everyone's saying that they're loving the accent, and yeah, Ian Campbell saying that's a fantastic Edinburgh accent, better than his. Champ Megahorse saying the three people on comms tonight is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say that I am really impressed with my accent as well. So, what are your predictions for this one, Steve? It's Haggis Hunters with the Vieira arrow away at Gazelles with the backwards diagonal arrow.
yeah, I can see both sides cancelling each other out here, but I'm going to go for them arrows leave. I think Gazelle's a little bit open without balls, so I think I can see an Aggies 1-0 for me
Okay.
personally.
Well, I'm going to kick this off, but I've just got a bit of a treat for everyone in the comms. We've actually doing comms for this next game. We've got Oscar Pistorius. So welcome to the studio, Oscar. Good day, bro. Let's kind of kick this one off now. We've got the Neil Sant coming forward for Higgins. The Ferdinands picked that up there. Vulgaris and Kefu coming forward. The Gazelles definitely on top early doors. And you got a goal there from Guillaume. It's his first goal for the club, or first goal this season, definitely. We've got more black and yellow. That's great. That's great. They're coming forward. Willens hit the crossbar. And yeah, it looks like Gazelles are well on top here. Um, Saha having an effort for the Haggis Hunters, and but the Gazelles are Duggan's got to be really happy with this, man. Really happy with this. Hey, Rifa, where you going, man?
Yeah,
Rifa,
I was just I was laughing at
excuse me, I
Dan's
need to go
comment
and get Rifa, man. She's
go down with a bang. It's come.
So I apologise for that. Oscar's just left the studio there. I think he wanted to go and check on his missus, who is obviously he's woke up and she's not there. Um, actually, just apologise to everyone. That was terrible. Right. So we're looking at
Fantastic.
Gazelle's first half, Steve.
Bruce Codler. Yeah, very solid from Gazelles there. I mean, Vulgaris coming into his own now, season 3, isn't he? A little bit. I know he's not been great there, but he's been solid at the back for him. Yeah, I think it's solid base to go on into the second half. Where I think the Arrows may have been negating Raul a little bit from being involved in the game, throwing him straight into where Alguera is. But I think considering what we're trying to do, it shows that Aggies is still tight, only being 1-0 behind. So
All right. I just actually we've got 18 or 17 people watching now, and so they've just seen Oscar Pistorius in the studio. One person we haven't seen, unless I'm mistaken, is Mr. Craig Duggan. Has anyone seen him in the chat? Then please let me know. that's how his stats are anyway. If he wants to make any changes. Ian obviously 1-0 down. Our good friend. What do you reckon you would do in this situation? Would you stick or twist? Shevchenko underperforming again.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shevchenko's probably not the person to be taken off whatsoever. I think he's been really good for him since coming in when he's been up top. For me, as much as I love him on the game, as Ian probably knows as well, we talked about him once or twice in the early days. Louis Saha for me with Larson on the bench, I think is probably.
Well, Saha's
As
actually
always,
going off for Salas. Is the sub which Ian's offered us.
no, that's fair enough, isn't it? I think both are probably better than him, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
But he's far more improvement in this side as well. Again, like you keep saying that, I keep saying that a lot, but there is.
Okay.
And
General Smuts is with us, Ian. General Smuts. Right. So before I kick off, shall I get Oscar back for the second half, or shall I leave it stay? Your call, mate.
you got any more famous people in your locker?
Don't know, man. No, I don't know. I reckon.
Bring Oscar back for this. Bring him back
It's
before he gets
We
his
go
death
into the
sentence.
second half here. Shevchenko coming forward for Haggis. They'll be looking to hope to hear lots more of his name in the second half if they're going to get back in the game. But Gazelle's gone strong, and they've got a second goal from Guilherme. Guilherme, I think, used to be of Ulster Athletic, and Cafu's got the third, and they're well on top with 3-0 with 15 minutes to go. Saha involved with the Haggis Hunters, but not doing much there. Um, Rosticki's in this. Oh, fuck, I can't do it anymore. It's fucking gone. It's last couple of minutes now. Gazelle's well on top. Absolutely handling this. Dimble saying Mandela. I don't think it's a very good Mandela. Looking at those stats there, I mean, Ian's going to be a little bit miffed. It's obviously Gazelle's strikers turning up for a change, and the Haggis gone AWOL.
Yeah, I mean, completely even there in terms of chances created, but look at the ratings and considering they've created as much as Gazelles have. Maybe the reason that they haven't got the line, but yeah, a pretty strange game that. Hard to get your head around, really. I think we're getting to that point though, aren't we, where things are happening where you look at it and you think, well, Mike Duff there, yeah, he's been, I think he's been really, really good for him. You can see why Didier ain't getting a game, full stop.
Yeah, or Gary Neville for that matter. But yeah, I mean that's the performance which Duggan's been after for a while, hasn't it? It's rock solid at home, a nice winnie. Good play on words, what people are using there. I'm just going to apologise again to everyone in the chat, and that'll never ever return. Duggan had the advantage of being in the studio to influence the game, so unsurprising he won that. Yeah, obviously, yeah, my Duggan impression going down a treat. Guillermo, obviously one that has to let go. Alf used to like him in a previous iteration of this. I mean, has he kind of staked his claim for a permanent position now?
Yeah, it may well have done. I mean, obviously, he brought Diego forward and hoping for big things with obviously letting Clivert go, and he obviously hasn't lived up to it. And Guilherme's not probably been there as well. But if you've got one of your strikers scoring a couple of goals, they're definitely staking a claim to be in that next game at least, aren't
They are indeed. Where are we up to? We're up to Leddersford at home versus league leaders North and Burn. Leddersford on how many is it now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game without defeats, including I think 3 wins, up to third in the table. Mr. Megahorse sitting pretty. Everyone's saying that what do you call it? He's basically come into the league and started taking the piss. He's kind of stuck with. He is taking the piss, isn't he?
I mean, if you take that backward arrow off Ronaldinho, I think it's no different to what Mac has played quite a lot. And look, well, why change a formula that's been working for him? I mean, it's pretty interesting to see that the last team that actually got a victory against Leddersford were against a different manager that's got a swelling neck. With the different, but I think Dan's using the players. I think Woodrow bought the players to play this formation and the wingers. I think Dan's just playing it in a more conservative way that's getting more out of them. And nine games undefeated in this league is very, very hard to come by, and
Yeah,
can do naught but tip your hat to him.
yeah, not many teams have done that. Yeah, and I remember Hodgie doing it with Ardsley Athletic. Obviously, I've done it with Bolton Phoenix, but I mean, there's not much I didn't do with them. Milan Petkov, did he get red carded last time out? Was it? I think he might have done.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, early doors as well.
Yeah, he's done well there, and he's up against ever the ever solid Northern Burn. Changes this week. Cannavaro's come back in after his red card, and Novotny drops to the bench. Also, had a straight swap from bringing Hidetoshi Nakata in, Bolton Wanderers legend, for Stefano Fiore. Ian, can you just confirm that this is correct? Alf saying there's no Arthur Bostrom from Allo Allo in the next Ryan. Do that accident. Alf, I got to apologise, mate. I have no idea who that is. Do you know who that is, Steve?
I've actually got the first 4 seasons of a series of Hello Hello on DVD, so somewhere. So I do quite like a bit of an older comedy at times, but I'm not in no position to be doing any accents or.
Yeah, I like a bit of porridge and a bit of what's he called? What's he called? Rising Damp guy. I can't remember his name. Anyway, we get move on from that.
Oh,
Reginald Perrin.
40 Towers is my go-to, really, from all the stuff. I love it.
Right, what's your prediction on
But
this one though? What's your prediction? That's what I mean. Faulty Towers aside, he's not the is Dan Megahorst the Messiah, or is he just a very naughty boy?
I can see, I can maybe see, end of the day, all good things come to an end at some point, as much as people don't want it. I just see Burn nicking, they've got a knack of nicking things. I can see a 1-0 Burn because they're going like that little bit more attacking with having the Catherine rather than Novotny, rather than Jeremy, sorry. Yeah, I could just see Burn nicking it
Yeah,
on face.
you mean I reckon you could have taken a good 3, 4, 5 minutes doing that prediction there, mate. So I just thought I'd kick the game off. And we got to 20 minutes, and Exeberia has opened the scoring on half an hour. 43 minutes, a very quick first half. It seems like I've had a lot of yellow as well. Paredes, Torres. This is the least white I've seen in a half in a Northern Burn half. But they did have a bit of an effort there just before the half-time whistle. 2-2, 2-2. Desmond's all round in terms of shots on target. 1-0 on the scoreline to the formidable, the unbeatable, the immovable object that is Leddersford Old Boys. Goal coming from Exeberia, who, when he's been fit, has been absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Dan will be rubbing his hands, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it didn't really seem like that half were as even as them stats show as well. There were a lot of blue and yellow. What else can you say? I think I was doing Dan a bit of a disservice, but it's probably just me overthinking the game in a sense. But bear in mind, in the save, this is a team that's finished top at league as well. Completely different players to that point. But it just got on firing and can do naught but just like say great stuff. And yeah, Paredes.
I'm one who'll bang the drum to this guy. I think he's an absolutely fantastic player, especially when you get to third season. I mean, I've got him in the 5th season at the moment at Dortmund. At Hamburg on my journeyman save, and he's probably one of the best in the world. Absolutely incredible, and he's doing great this season since he's come in for Leddersford. Kivu been another big player after coming in from Devils. Ronaldinho having probably his best season to date. Yeah, I mean, I'm going on at half time there. I'm sure Dan's not going to make any changes. It's hard to type when rubbing his hands. Sorry. And we move over to Northern Burn, who are probably having the worst half of the season, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean it's not good, is it, when you both your centre halves are on a 5. Being given a bit of a run round by probably that back arrow on Ronaldinho if they're on man marking, leaving a bit of space in behind. But yeah, they've been a little bit got at, but still got results over the last sort of couple of weeks. The quality will shine through come end of the season for me, but I think end of the day, I think he's going to a team that's probably looking at most dangerous in league at the minute, and I don't think finish up with a loss, I don't think he'll take any art from whatever result may be.
I think he will be with that start to the half. Henry and Sizalco involved and look like they're creating stuff. Contra going in the right hand side, Sizalco going close there, Pathantini coming forward for Leddersford, and Rodden coming forward now. Sizalco again. Looks like Northern Burn have turned up the second half. We did have a yellow card there for Totti. We move forward into the last 15 minutes, and looks like Leddersford are holding strong. Rodinho, Robin skips the bar. Let's slow this one down. Right, Keen into the area. Um, are we going to have a last chance? Are we in the saloon yet? Potenzzini on the left-hand side for Leddersford. There's a foul there. Ronaldinho on the edge of the box. Hersey hits it towards goal, and that's well defended. And I think that's going to be all she wrote, or is it? It looks like it might be another Leddersford attack. Vogel, Ronaldinho, Hersey. Someone clattered Torres. Samuel clears the ball. After 96 minutes, we're still going. Taibbi smothers the ball, delivers it upfield. Contra coming forward, plenty of time. Taibbi
Oh,
pushes it away.
bloody
I
hell.
thought when you get to 96 minutes, it's getting there for a reason. Northern came massively into that game second half after being relatively quiet in the first period. 7 shots, 4 on target, 4 on target as well for Leddersford. Yeah, I think Ian will be going away from that thinking slightly unlucky, really, not to get something out of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously looking at the first half, I think he might have been a little bit resigned to the fact that he's gone to a side that's on the march. But the second half, yeah, you're disappointed if you don't take a draw there, whether you're home or away. I think Samuel maybe let him down a little bit there, but he's been solid for him in the whole, hasn't he? So
Yeah, I imagine
yeah,
that Walter Samuel's very solid in the hull. Um, Contra picking up a 9, which will be a scant consolation. Mr. Megahorse can't have anything to complain about. Taibbi picking up man of the match. Really, really solid performance from his team against a really, really good team. 8 7s, couple of 9s in there. Or just, yeah, 2 9s in there. Yeah, the immovable horse.
yeah. I mean, I think he's obviously look. His knowledge of the database has overtaken thoughts of what players have done for me. Look, Taib has been extremely good for him, whereas Anjog Butt has probably been, apart from Bartes, one of the most consistent keepers since the start of this iteration.
I would never.
And
For my thing, this is nothing to do with anything else. I mean, knowledge of database, whatever, knowledge of database, whatever. Whilst Taibbi's under the age of 35, and probably even when he's 35, he's a country mile ahead of Hanjog, but mate,
yeah, it's good, but both were very, very good for Odgie. Never threw a five in, never. So you can't throw against that in a couple of seasons of everybody's been due him. But yeah, it the old boys match on.
the old boys match on. Churchtown got a draw away at you last time out. They got a win before that at home to Haggis. That's 3 without defeat for them. Starting to edge their way up the table. Roque Santa Cruz keeps his spot up top. Does he? Does he keep his spot up top? Yeah, he does. Yeah. How are we looking for Churchtown? Have you? I mean, is there potential there that they could sneak into the top 6, mate?
Yeah, definitely. If not for the players on the park, because of the manager, in my opinion, seen it firsthand many a time. But he's he's getting results. He's changing things up when he's not. He feels like it's not working. Aka Mild, you know what? He started with us. His ratings looking the best that you've ever seen, but he just seems to be blocking everything off in that central midfield role as well. Yeah, I think it deserves a lot of praise. He didn't have a lot to work with in terms of trying to make transfers. Um, he's got one or two players that might bring a bit of something in for him, but what he might get for him going forward as well may not be what he totally wants. He probably didn't want the players he's got, but he's making them work, and massive hats off to him.
Mm. 11 games in, the champions sit outside the top 6, and it's the second injury of the season for Emil Mpenza, who has got 8 goals in 7 games, but we have played 11 games, and this is going to be the 12th tonight. So it seems that obviously they're a different team when he's involved. They have got quality throughout the team, though, and I think this week for the second time running, they start with Nicola Venter Clemon for Mpenza last time out, and he keeps his place up top for the Devils. Um, yeah, anything to say on this one, mate?
I mean, I know Ventler were a big signing when Fife were in charge. Uh, Always going to be a really tough job for Roger taking over. He obviously wants to put his own stamp on with a couple of players, bringing in like Sorochinsky. I love him. I think it's fantastic. It's just finding that formula that's working. This formation has started getting him results. It's probably not something he wants to play. Looking at his previous, what he has played before, but if something starts getting you results, you got to start sticking with it a bit. Are they in a false position? Probably are so. And I do think they're going to push, if not squeezing the top six coming into the season.
Any predictions on this one, mate, as a kick-off?
Yeah, but I don't think they'll win this one. I'm going to go 1-0 Churchtown.
1-0 Churchtown. They had a good start there, but Devils coming straight back into it. And Dyer coming in the right-hand side for the Devils. Emerson with a header, I believe. Raquelme coming forward, having a disappointing season so far. Disappointing save, really, for Raquelme. And Sorochinsky gets his first ever goal for the Devils. Santa Cruz fires right back, though, to 25 minutes. It's one apiece. Both teams looking dangerous. Both teams looking vulnerable. Emerson coming forward and a yellow card for Barry Ferguson, and we reach half time. And again, we've not had the kind of the. I mean, we've not had all the shots on goal, have we, though, so far this evening? Devils slightly edging that first half and conceding their only shot on goal. Hodgie disappointed in Seb Frey, but apart from that, relatively happy with his performance.
Yeah, I mean, if you're conceding one goal, one shot on target, and you're conceding one goal and you keep it on a six, I think you're all right. Dyer proving himself again in this iteration. He's just been an absolute machine. It's just been sort of plodding on for the rest of them at the minute, which whether that bodes well for them or plays more at Churchtown's and it's difficult to say.
Yeah, Emerson and Barry Ferguson both on below 80, and one on a 6 and a 7. Hodgie going as is though. We'll move over to Churchtown, and Dimble can let me know if he wants to make any subs. Juan Roman Riquelme on an 8 is probably one of his highest ratings of the season. 15 out of 21 passes completed, and a couple of them, one of them key, a couple of tackles won as well. Easy to see why. Zanetti getting he's kind of one of his more, one of his kind of class players, isn't he? Javier Zanetti.
Yeah,
And obviously Santa Cruz looks like he may be starting to come good. One player who definitely can do it further down in the save. We'll see how he gets on. Churchtown going as it is as well, so I will kick off the second half and see what happens. And straight out the block, Emerson gets the goal for the Devils. Looks like the Devils have come out firing. Sorochinsky involved again there. Ventula, Del Piero coming forward for Churchtown. Well, looks like they're back in again now. Last 10 minutes, and I'll not spell that down. Nicola Ventler has sealed the fate of the Churchtown boys, and the dropping well has seen a home defeat. And Devils have won 3-1. Three different goal scorers: Sherchinsky, Emerson, and Ventler. Match stats say that they probably deserved it. Probably a fair result. 7 shots on target to the 2 of Churchtown. Quality probably shining through with that one, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, obviously, talked about Dyer, but that's a massive step up for all the players, and we know they've got that in the locker. And they just come to the party big time in the second half. Massively deserved on the second half, really.
Yep, Emerson down on 68, but obviously getting the goal and the 9. Kieran Dyer picking up man of the match. Yeah, and yeah, I think you kind of alluded to the issues at Churchill. Not a bad performance for the team tonight, apart from Stilian Petrov. A few 8s across midfield where he's been struggling for ratings. 7s for Santa Cruz and Del Piero. Shouldn't be too disheartened. It was a tough game tonight. But yeah, I completely agree with the idea that. Do you mean if Dimble's one of these who obviously will crack on and keep moving and keep trying to improve Churchtown, but he's probably one of these who's secretly hoping for a bit of a redraft, so he could kind of give himself a level playing field.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he'd have had the Churchtown squad from the start, we'd see a different Churchtown, personally.
Yeah, Fair enough, fair enough. And you know what, mate? I think we're on less than an hour so far, and we're on to our final game of the evening. It is the Spartak Sloths, the Rob Sloths boys up against the Dudley Hill. It's fourth versus 12th. Let's have a look at what Rob Sloth is treating to us tonight. Yes, you are not. Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. Ricardinho and Rui Costa have been moved out wide. The arrows on Zerberto and Paceto have been shot, and then the arrow's been put on D'Alessandro. Apart from that, it's the same 11. It's a solid 11. It's an 11 which is sitting fourth in the table and won last time out at home to Gazelles. Yet he decided to mix things up. Are you more excited or less excited now that you've seen that lineup?
I don't know. He put it out after I put like a little bit of a video out and put Tim out earlier, so it can't have been a reaction to what I put out because he put it out instantly. So Rui Costa in that AMR role might give us a little bit of joy. Ricardinho's he was class for Boston in terms of goals scored. D'Alessandro in a central midfield role might. I think Van Bommel might get a bit of joy there, regardless of his arrow. Considering the results previous, I don't know. I don't know what to expect because Fife did this against me when he was Devils manager and got a result. And I think if you go out of box once but don't stick with it, I think it can play in your hands a little bit.
Do you want to talk us through your lineup then, mate? Are you confident with this one? I think I actually like the look of this one for a change.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really solid. Only conceded 3 on target against Churchtown. Zanona's been very good. I think Serginho's ratings, he's looking like he's getting that little bit overhill. They've all started dropping. I know he's been in reserves until I brought him up,
Yeah,
but
you should.
it was a lot
It
better
would be good if you
before
had
him.
someone like Roberto Carlos, wouldn't it?
Well, it depends. If this potential loan window does happen, we've got a DML lined up to come in, who will play every game, and I think he'll add to us massively. Ayala's been terrible again after a couple of initial good performances. So Kufre were good, so I thought I'd bring him back in. And yeah, I think I'm trying to bring a bit of tried and tested back in with Alex because he's had spikes of 8s and blah blah. But yeah,
When?
just he's really, but he's had man at matches and 8s, and
Yeah, okay.
he's the worst Alex I've ever seen, if I'm honest. But yeah, we roll with it. I can't go with Olasadibi and AMC again, so
Fair play.
because he just doesn't do it.
Let's kick this off then. Good luck to both managers. I'd love this formation to work. No offense to you. I think he was talking about the Spartak formation. General Smuts saying no Chewy, no party. Let's kick this one off and see what happens. We've seen a lot of red as we get started. Zeriberto and Christian Vieri coming forward and getting the opening goal. Vieri having another one from long range. Tomasi and Tudor coming forward for Dudley Hill. Serginho, Tony 22 minutes gone. Alex knocking it down. Possession changing hands a lot of times there. Seen quite a bit of blue, but I'm not too sure you've had many shots on, mate. That's what my kind of concern is in this situation. 44 minutes gone there. Ricardinho coming forward for Spartak Slops, and we get to half time. Oh, again, we've had such a low attempt ratio this evening, but Dudley Hill having slightly the better of it, yet Pellizzoli, I imagine, not covering himself in glory in net. I'm going to go to you first because I've not seen Rob in the chat. If Rob is in the chat, please give us a nudge. Talk us through your first half performance, Steve.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm big in. I mean, I'm looking at Kufre with a 5 there. He's completed nearly all his passes. He's won 2 tackles. Ayala did come off the bench and get an 8 for me previous, so I will bring Ayala on for Kufre, please. But apart from that, I'll roll with it. We've been pretty decent. You know what? I can make talk. I'll bring Rusev on for Sadov. Sadov's like winding me up as well. I'm trying to stick with him in terms of being a near enough top level player, but it's just not working.
Actually, I've not seen Rob in the chat, so if he is here and wants to make a sub, let me know as soon as possible. Solid first half performance, if not in the
Ah,
stats, but in the ratings. Vieri getting the 8, 9 from Big Marcel. Age is only a number. Is there a
dude,
better Big Marcel?
he's been unreal, hasn't he? The old time for him, and take me off to him for sticking with him.
Yeah, I'm a Big Marcel fan as well. Um, Costa not really in his natural position out wide on the right. Ricardinho doing a job out there, but you'd say they're both more preferred for that centre positioning. Let's see what happens. Love seeing Lisa in the SL. Mike Savage saying that. What's he talking about, Steve?
It's one of his players from his swim team, in it. And off the top of my head, I don't really know. Oh, it's Alyssa, of course it is.
Ah, of
Um,
course it is.
yeah, I'm glad you enjoy seeing him because I really don't, because he's not been good.
Oh, 64 minutes gone, and Ricardinho's picked up a knock. What am I going to do here? Jesus.
I know what I'd do here, but and
Yeah.
I'll say it as a neutral. It'd be Albertini for him and move D'Alessandro out there, looking at what his options have been. But
Yeah. Let's have a quick
that's not me being a twat. That's me being realistic. You can't put Pizarro there, can you? Bloody hell.
look. Yeah, I think that's what we got to do. I think
It's,
that's.
it's,
Huh?
so it was Costa's natural position is in the
Fucking.
bleeping bin.
I quite like Rui Costa. I think it was a mistake by Tato to sell him, but there we are. Tato had a good win tonight. And we continue with this game, and yeah, that gives you a little bit more hope that he might get back into this. Now, Luca Toni should have done. He's at the equaliser there on 66 minutes. We move into the last 20, um, and both teams looking a bit more dangerous than they did in the first half. Zé Roberto coming forward, and there's Albertini off the bench, and Steve's ruined that decision now. Into the
Oh,
last
yeah.
5 minutes, can we get an equaliser for our COCOM? 88, 89, 90, 91. Final whistle. I'm sorry, Steve. Um,
No, it's my own fault,
Demetrio
mate.
Albertini.
But you'd have done that anyway, mate. You'd have done that anyway.
Yeah, probably.
So
Yeah. Um, I wouldn't be too disheartened, mate. Obviously, not the
no,
best.
no.
It was not.
Honestly, I'm not, mate. Honestly, this season there's been very little games that I've not been in, and it's just that lack of cutting edge. I don't know, but no, I'm not excited by that. But after we scored, they put pressure on. There were a lot of black and red after that, so yeah, probably a little bit deserved in there looking at stats. But yeah, I thought we've been considering Marcel's dropped and still got man a match. I think it says a bit that.
Yeah, and Christian Vieri is obviously having a good run this season. That's his ninth goal. Albertini coming off the bench. He's not played much this season. Rui Costa not having the best game, which Tate will be glad to see. Simeone, who's not having the best highest rating, well tonight though. Um, yeah, I mean, what a player! What a player! Is he going to be a decent coach? Is he going to be a decent coach? Whoa, it looks pretty
Okay,
solid.
Jesus,
If he
wait.
could, if he could keep goalkeepers, then if he could coach goalkeepers, then he'd be much better. But a 35-year-old, that looks pretty solid. I'll see if Rob Slough wants him as a player coach.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen Dimble's there saying Rob's a magician, but I've handed him that winner. I played Dimble, so
hmm.
come on, let's.
So yeah.
Anyway, I'm still on first page anyway, so that's a positive.
I'll tell you who is on the first page, the very top of the first page, and our new league leaders, Mr. Dan Megahorse and the Leddersford Old Boys. Yeah, they're looking pretty pretty at the top of the league. Currently topping it by 1 goal on goal difference. Northern Burn and Bostock Stanley still up there, as are Sloths. It's very tight up there at the top. And then just sitting 1 win behind Fulchester Devils and Boston. Yeah, it's still all to play for. As we look down the league, Haggis still in and around there. Gazelles, they what the win tonight, didn't they? That's a good win, I think, against Haggis. That kind of puts them back into contention. Astor need to, I think, nearly definitely getting the goals. They probably need to tighten up as much as Dragons do. yeah, when it comes to like Dudley, Hools, and Churchtown, goals are the issue, aren't they? Scored, I think, 6 less than any other team. Yeah, and you need to get goals if you're gonna win games, unless you're Locomotive Boston. Um,
Yeah,
any comments, mate? Anything to add? Alexi Smerton, top of the average rating charts.
yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I really, really like him on game, and I know Duggan does. But yeah, Beckham's still there. I mean, looking through these are going to be obviously regular where they are up top. I think.
You don't have to
Do you
talk
know
about
what?
what's on screen, mate. I'm just clicking through so people have got a bit of some.
But no, been another great night again. I just need to see where we're at
Yeah,
next game.
and I will get you on for a normal evening stay when I'm not rushing
No,
through it.
I'm not joking. No, listen, you know what? I think it was a great idea trying to get Alan on. It really was because
Well, fingers crossed he's going to be on this weekend. I'm going to speak to Spifey and speak to Alan and see if we can get Alan Finnett, obviously um, the godfather of Champman on Twitter and of the Super League. So that would be that'd be great fun. Um,
definitely, definitely.
yeah, so if Fifey's up for that, I don't know if he's still about then. Yeah, and I apologise for everyone for the late start. We went for a cheeky beer
All right.
in our local after the game of football. So thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for everyone in the chat for sticking on to the end. Rob, a fucking musician, as Dimble says there. Full chest board, happy, blah blah blah. Didn't mean to click on that. Um, anything I need to click on? Fixtures, fixtures. Um,
Ah, Jesus.
Northern Burn, mate.
Eh, dear.
Oh dear,
Oh
oh dear,
well,
oh dear.
we go again.
Yeah, Dragons versus Hulls have been an interesting one. Bottom two at the moment. Astor and Churchtown, I think, will both go into that game thinking they can get a win. Um,
Led us for Fulchester for me is there because Macker will have the game by that point, I should imagine, and he'll proper really, really, really go at it for me.
Macker will probably want to end that run as a bit of a badge of honour, won't he? She's
Yeah, that's the and then but then again though, I guess but Campbell and Rob, the might be the funnest of the evening.
right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us at our late starts, but not too late finish in the grand scheme of things. Steve, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the chat. It's been the Champman Super League, and we shall see you all again soon. Thanks a lot, Steve. Thanks a lot, Super League.
Night, lads.